Hello and welcome to this new episode of Your English Story. Today I have the pleasure to be with Tamara. And Tamara is a coach and she'll tell us more about it later. And she's originally from Switzerland and speaks many languages, but today we're going to focus on her English story. Tamara, can you say a few words about who you are? And also from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, how much has English have impacted your career or your life in general?
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm going to start with the question and the scale of 1 to 5. So, breaking all the rules here before getting to know me. And I would say that for sure it has impacted my career. I would say 6 out of 5. You did not expect that because it did really impact my career because I did teach in English, which feels completely exaggerated considering my accent. But what I want to say by this is that it impacted my career. Now I also coach in English and
So
I
tell us
use
what
it.
you do.
Yes, this is a good answer to this, like to put it together. So I'm originally from Geneva, Switzerland. So English is for sure not my mother tongue. And I'm a life coach and I'm the founder of Life Uncomplicated, which is a program and a movement to take ourselves and our life less seriously. So this is why I'm today. I'm coaching in English, very important because this is how I brought my coaching career from one-on-one, coaching one-on-one people like me and them together, and then moving on to group in English. So this is what English is important. And I also coach in American Sign Language that I learned to be able to offer anyone in the USA the opportunity to get coached. So English is really half of my work. Like I use English all the time. And I want to add here that it's not only about the career for me, because I also have a partner, a boyfriend in life that we actually speak most of the time in English. So English is essential to my life in so many different point of views.
Beautiful, beautiful. So tell me, why did you choose to work in English? Because you could have chosen to do everything you're doing, but in French, in your mother tongue.
So true. I do believe that so many people speak English. So it makes my work and how I can help people much more accessible to many more people. This is how I started. And I love watching movies, listening to songs, watching TV shows, and a lot great quality TV shows and movies come from the USA or from, I don't know, England. And I did want to watch them in their original language. And same with books. I really love reading books. And if I can read them in their original language, which is often English, I don't know if it's by surprise. There are probably amazing books in other languages, but the English that I have today really made it accessible for me to read and yeah, content that is also online for sure on social media. But I would have said like the TV shows and movies and books are a lot in English. So I don't know. I want to be able to be a part of this world that is a lot in English, which I love. I love this language. So.
Do you feel, especially in coaching, that a lot of material is in English and that it's easier to access advanced techniques through English?
100% for sure. And also a lot of self-help and personal development books. I think that people are, I don't think, I wouldn't say in advance, so then it means that some people may be late to the movement of coaching, but I do think that maybe there just were many more things published in English. So yes, 100% to your question, I would say.
And do you have a routine with your English? Like you spoke about movies and songs and books, but what about your work? Do you have any routine to help you progress in your field?
There is one application that I used to use on my phone that was to help me improve my English to not use normal, ordinary words, but to get it to implement more expressions and more rich vocabulary to my to my day-to-day English usage, like the way I use English every day. So I do think that I need a bit more maybe to more content, but I want something a bit serious. I don't want only movies and TV shows, which I love. So to answer the question, it makes me think now that I would like to improve it even a bit more. So yeah.
Okay, great. Now I would like to talk about the Tamara from I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. What was your feeling about English, about learning the language? Were you excited about it? Or was it a subject that you really didn't like?
I think I was really excited about it. And in Switzerland, at least in Geneva, they teach you the important stuff. I mean, the numbers, the thing how to have a conversation. But I think what I really, really started liking, the reason why it's again because of movies and TV shows and songs that I wanted to be able to access. And I don't know, I think English is fun. I think it's highly accessible. And I believe because I thought this, I had in my mind that it's a fun language and that I love learning it, it made it easier for me to learn it. So I do think that it's, yeah, we can take things again. It's very on brand, but I believe that we can make it less serious and we will learn easier, I think. So this is how I learned it back then. And up to today, I think when I'm learning, I'm a part of a Toastmaster club, here. And it just helps so much when it's in English. I just love learning and knowing what mistakes I made and improving from there.
Mhm. Do you feel that when you speak English, you're a different person than when you speak in French?
Such a good question. And we talk about it like all the time, friends and I here. Yes, absolutely. For sure, I make grammar mistakes. I make spelling you cannot see here, but I promise you I do. I do make mistakes, and I don't know, in French, I'm perfect. I don't make any mistakes. So, no, but I really do, to be serious, when I'm speaking, it's me, but somehow it's for sure a different me, which I find fascinating. Some people may think, but it's not me then. I'm like person. I think of course, it's still me, but I don't know. I find it fascinating. I am for sure different
Well,
than when I speak.
how would you describe the difference? Like, when like think a little bit more. Like, is it you feel like you're not as shy, or you more creative, or what would it be?
It's really funny because each time we mention it, with the people, like, yeah, I'm different, but I don't know exactly why. So, but I know that you ask me, I do think that I would feel less smart in English because I don't ace that language, like French. I think I speak quite good, even if I add a lot of English words to my French. I would say the first thought when you ask me the question is maybe I appear less smart, but then I'm realizing that I am not. Of course, I coach in English, but I'm not an English teacher, which today I would feel an imposter, like to be able to teach in a language like it's not. So it's okay for me to make mistakes, I think, depending on if I would be an English teacher, I would for sure make sure I speak it perfectly, to make sure that I can help others the best way that they can. But otherwise, I think, like, for example, when it comes to coaching, I'm sharing like the knowledge I have about this field. So I think if I need help and there is someone in front of me that can help me, I wouldn't care that they have an accent or that they don't speak perfectly. I
Right.
just want the help. So to answer your question, yeah, very different. And I think just maybe a bit, the appearance is less smart, but I'm still the
But
same. So
it's very interesting that you chose to teach in English, even though you feel like, okay, maybe you don't appear as bright as when you speak French, and still you decided to coach in English. So because if I go to a coach, I want the coach to feel reliable, and it feel like if you have clients, they also feel that way with you. So the English barrier is not as strong as you might think.
yes, and it's funny you say this, and for everybody listening, in the end, people are going to feel what you are feeling towards yourself. So English, as I stated before, I do not think it's a problem. ASL, American Sign Language, I also don't sign perfectly, but I know that somebody is suffering and they need my help to feel better, and I don't let it be in my way because, again, the same idea as if you have somebody in front of you that, like, you need their help, and no matter they have the accent or the language, you will need. I need his water in the middle of the dessert, not the chocolate cake one. So I would absolutely need the help, and I would not care. I just want help. I just want to feel better. So I think what we decide to be, and I decided English is not a problem. Also because as a coach, you want, people to, yeah, to not be in their own way. So I cannot be in my own way with the English that I have. I can help people, and I think because I believe so much in this is what people, it reflects in other people. I never heard somebody on a sales call, anybody telling me, but do you speak English? Like, they understand I don't speak English, but I never make it a problem. So everybody should learn English. Everybody should improve their English, but never let it stop for anything they want to do in their career or
Yeah,
life.
it's a good lesson because you just
Oh,
need to jump in the water and let the conversation flow, and yeah, you see that you can do much more than what you might think, and
for
it's
sure.
also leaving your comfort zone and just learning through the experience. So great, great. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting point that you're raising.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, I know we've spoken about your level of English and that, okay, but was there any situation that was a little bit funny or something weird that happened to you because of your English?
A funny situation.
Like a misunderstanding or something that you wanted to say and that was translated in a different way?
I think I can see it with my boyfriend that it's also not his native language, so I can see that it's funny situation when we don't use prepositions the right way. For example, about, on, I'm a bit better than him, but we have sometimes issue with on. No, this is kind of easy. But anyway, so we always check online thanks to AI. Today we can just correct his little mistakes, which never replace, a real training of English training. But yeah, so I would say these kind of moments where we just know we both don't know English, and I'm most of the time always losing at the bet. So I think these are the kind of moment, and this is again the moment where we need to kind of laugh at our mistakes and not make it mean anything about us. That it's not because we don't speak perfectly that we cannot use it as a very highly professional career or anything. So, but this is the only thing I can think about funny, because otherwise I'm speak perfectly again. So I don't need to laugh about it. But probably people. I used to have friends actually that were English native speakers, and I was the only one, and it was sometimes hard, like it felt intimidating, to speak English in front of them because they could see the mistakes. But again, I did not let it go in the way of our friendship, because it was more than the language. The language was there to communicate with each other. Which again, it's from what you said before. I also think it's important for anybody that has an accent to remember. One day I heard this, that it's a proof of bravery, not that like you being brave,
Courage, yes,
very
yeah.
courage, bravery, and the courage really to just try. And it's true. And from now on, each time I hear an accent, I'm kind of impressed, because it goes through the filter of, they have an accent. They've been trying to speak another language. So I kind of start being proud of my accent at this point. So, and I used to be a bit shame, you better speak perfectly a language. Which you don't have an accent almost. It's crazy. How did
I've
you
worked on
do?
it a little.
Wow, it's
But the the idea of just going and trying is so useful, and you can't imagine how many people want to improve their English, and then they come to me and it's like, ah, and like they feel like they're too ashamed to speak to a teacher. And that's like, no, it's a safe place to learn English and to improve and practice. But sometimes you're too self-conscious of your issues, then
exactly.
you get into a freeze mode and you don't do what you should. So it's a great message you have for us. You were
I'm happy
mentioning
about it.
earlier about AI. What do you think about AI? Do you think that we won't need to learn languages anymore because of AI?
Not at all. I strongly believe that we still need this human connection. This is why I also think that teachers, the way I learn languages, and now I have a teacher for American Sign Language. I have an application. I'm learning a word per day. I'm checking. I'm signing songs, something to improve myself. But it doesn't, and it ever, in my humble opinion, never replace a person. This is why I take my lesson every 2 weeks. I take with him, but I think it's just, yeah, of course, we dread it a little bit before taking a lessons, and it's normal because again, it's uncomfortable, it's tiring, you have
Sure.
full attention, but it is so important. To me, it's never going to replace anything. The way I learn languages, I cannot use AI for this. It's incredible for so many things, but for this, I think it will never replace somebody sharing with you. And also, there are so many things that are, in my opinion, in AI, you don't see the expression, the intonation, the accent. Like, it's just love AI with all my heart, but this is just, in my opinion, it's not. It's like
I
coaching. I also think you can get great coaching
right.
through GPT. I use it almost every day, honestly. But then in the end of the day, I also share, for example, my training. Like my program, Life Uncomplicated, is about a vibe, a way of living, a lifestyle. English to me, you cannot summarize it using AI to improve this amazing Shakespeare language. You also need to talk to people, and I don't know, yeah, for
I, I
sure.
tried I tried AI just to get a feel for what it is, and I had the feeling of talking to myself. And I mean, you're talking to a voice, and that corrects you but there's no real conversation. It's just it lacks the human interaction that it's still not there yet. Hopefully, people will still value the human relationship, but I'm sure AI has a role to play in learning, in a lot of different things, and coaching and learning languages. But at the end of the day, we want to learn English to communicate, and we need to be able to communicate and to practice that to feel better. That's my feeling about AI. Even though it's great, I really enjoy using AI in many different ways as a tool, but it's still
For sure.
a tool.
No, but it's fun also to talk to people, to talk to someone. And I'm more an introvert now. I really love spending time alone, but I still love my lesson, with my teacher. I think it's very important. I don't know, to have some fun, to be a bit in the present, be with human beings. And I'm talking really from a place of someone who loves their own company. So I just think but again, it's not black and white. You don't need to take a lesson every day, but I do believe it's
Right.
not gonna replace it. I have a gut feeling. Yeah. People will try, but they will see they will go back to the fun and the more human touch of a human being.
Right. Right. Yes. I think it's in particular for the English language, when you go to a meeting and you have someone from the USA and another person from the UK and another one from Canada and another one from Australia, and everyone at some stage you will see they will always talk about the language and the differences, and they will make fun of each other, and this is something that an AI can't really feel, the this idea that there are some nuances in the language between different countries, and it's also a cultural way. Like, learning English is a way to get closer to the culture. So I
Yeah,
always
it's true.
tell my students, if you want to deal with American people, take a lesson with an American teacher, because there are some nuances, not just the language, but also the way they speak and their expressions and their reactions, that you really get when you have conversation lessons with that. Do you feel that learning English helped you get closer to the English speaking culture, and do you have a preference of a country?
No, for sure. And it's what you said, adding also history. I think that there is so much history in, the words we
Mhm.
use, like the slang. There are some funny, yeah, nuances. I agree with you. Trying to think now. No, I'm not sure. I'm used to, I think, the American English because of, again, the movies and TV shows. And I love watching good movies. It's really art to me. I don't know. In Switzerland, I don't know. But in Europe, we love also the English accent, the British one. No, I couldn't answer. And I was in Australia a little bit, so the Cheers mate, I was kind of familiar with it. But otherwise, also South Africa one, I can now kind of recognize it when somebody speaks it. No, I don't have an answer for you. I just think also because I decided a bit that my life was an anthropological experience, like seeing people and find them fascinating, which Toastmasters was also, to me, it's also a journey of like anthropology to me. And yeah, so to answer your question, I think anybody that is, I love that, I don't know, then ask question. And actually, the funny part, and I don't know if you would agree with me on this, if you ask somebody a bit more about how they grew up with this language, what do they think, or like the accent, or what words they like, they're gonna make the accent, or they're gonna speak even more to show even more their identity. It's what you said, it's an identity even to them. They speak this kind of English, they take it kind of seriously. I believe every language, every dialect.
True.
So to
Yes.
answer your question, I think it's even more fascinating from an anthropological
My
point of
husband's from Australia,
yeah.
and when he talks to American people, they always make fun of him because such a different accent. But he has a very mild Australian accent. But when he travels to Australia, suddenly he becomes so Australian, so funny.
Wait, did you choose your accent, you, or like you learned
I think
something?
it's natural. Like, you
Yeah,
imitate the people you talk to, and then, but when he's in Australia, he can really, his Australian character just comes out of him very quickly. It's
so
quite
funny.
amazing. But
And so you have an Australian supposed to accent, you, or like because you?
no, I mean, I lived in Dublin in Ireland for a couple of
Right.
years. I don't have an Irish accent. I learned English in France, so also very inspired by the British. I think more British than anything else. Well, maybe some few words influenced by my Australian husband, but mainly closer to British. Well,
so funny that it took me a bit of time to know my mother tongue is French. I really honestly did not know. Or maybe I'm also more, again, because I'm looking more for the person than the way they speak. I think this is also important for anybody listening, and for sure you do this work for a reason, but it's the intention why we want to learn English, the language. And to me, of course, there are mistakes, which this, again, it's a big debate between people that want to speak every sentence using the right word and speaking slowly so they don't make mistake, and people like me that are a bit probably impulsive and just want people to understand. And often you will find 1 or 2% that's trying to correct you, and I'm answering, but did you get it from the context, in any language that I speak? But then I just know, to be honest, in the end of, there's no right way or wrong way, but I do believe that my way I have more fun for sure, because I don't care so about my mistake. I just don't make it mean that I'm not good enough, or that I should speak better. Like, but I mean, because the other one here at home, there are some people that want to just speak perfectly, and they are not talking at all in
And then they don't
in
talk.
the.
Exactly.
But it's also, I don't want to blame, probably people are listening and feel that this is them. But I just think to go back to the intention of why we want to speak, and if it's to honestly to communicate, or no matter what, I think, yeah, just to get clear on this, I think clarity feels good. Just know
Right.
why we really want to learn this language, and then is it really worth that, like, to be on our own way, to not wanting to make mistakes, not really wanting to learn because there's so much to learn. I think many people, I don't know if this is common for you, for your students, but there's so much to learn about the language. I rather like push it further away. Like, I cannot start now. I will
Right.
never get there.
They,
No?
they might think about it, but then reality strikes and
Yeah.
they feel that they really need English. So then they come back to us because they really need to work on their English. But the idea of daring and just talking is very strong, and that's the way I feel is the best way. I mean, the way we teach in our school is very influenced by my experience of learning English, where I learned English at school. And after high school and university, my English level was good for a French person, but nothing crazy. And when I moved to Ireland, right after university, I had the opportunity to learn in full immersion. There was no French; you just had to speak. And I remember I was looking for an apartment to rent, and I was so shy. I didn't know if I would understand people, and I asked my colleague, "Could you call for me?" And he says, "No, you have to call."
Ah,
And that's how I jumped in the water, and that's how I decided to stop caring if it was too uncomfortable. You just do it, and after a while, you realize that you've made a lot of progress.
yeah, no, for sure. And just to get people the way that I did it, because I think that I mean, English is the way I learned it, like you, like we learned it in school, and then we practice. And I did a lot of, like, I went abroad to learn English in the summer. It was an excuse to go away, and my parents, oh, she's learning English. That's what we can help her. But I was a lot having fun and learning English. But what I want to say here is, now that I'm learning the language of the American Sign Language, I'm using the technique of thinking of myself, how much I would like to sign good enough to be able to use it, to coach people, which is the case now. But I know that I keep in mind, for example, 3 years from now, I'm signing good, people understand me. What would this future self tell my present self? And she really told me, just go go on Zoom, do the lesson, because we do on Zoom with the lesson is in the USA, and just don't just but also, again, not black and white thinking. I can do one lesson every 2 weeks, one lesson per week, something. It doesn't have to be a new passion that you do 5 hours a day, if that
Right.
makes sense. So my future self tell me, taking it easy, make sure you have fun. This is for me essential. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. But you can have fun. I think things don't have to be hard or complicated, and you can learn at your pace. But at least when you think about 2 years from now yourself, you can see how today matters. But again, it doesn't make it mean anything about you that you're not there yet. You just take it one step at a day, and one lesson at a no, one lesson at a week. But just I think the future self of what they would tell you at the level that you wish you would be to your present self is, to me, it's bringing me back exactly to what I'm supposed to do, what I want to do today. So, make sense? I hope.
It's so good to talk to a coach. They always have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, but I have to say that I have to be a product of my product. So I'm not gonna say something I really truly like it, because it helps for every. And I have to say, probably you mentioned it in other episode, but I mean, when people learn English, then you learn skills that you will use for learning anything in life. Basically the not needing motivation to jump on a call and do your lesson, or maybe just believing in yourself before getting there. Things like, of course, I believe in as a coach, but I'm saying it's never just English. Also, there are so many kind of byproducts that you gain by jumping in the water, as we said. And again, taking it less seriously. I think English is, yeah, it's a bit of respect to Shakespeare language. So it's just fun. So we should just take it lightly and have fun on the way. And it will also make not only the journey easier, but I think we'll get there faster, which is the aim of somebody learning English, I guess.
Right. Yeah. What you were talking about the byproducts. What would you say are your byproducts?
Me?
Yes, by learning English, what are the
Oh.
byproducts that you got?
I would say from learning English, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Got lost in my head, it's getting crazy in there. I think from learning English, to me, it was really the confidence of, again, it was not about speaking it perfectly because I went to San Diego, I went to Boston, Malta, all these places to have fun and learn English. So it was more, yeah, a way to meet new people and
Mm-hmm.
speak their language. And it is true that it opened when I moved abroad. It really opened I was able to teach, as I said, English to kids, but just for 6 months. But it opened me really like doors when you think about the career. So, and I did not do it for this reason. I just know that it was part of the curriculum. And I do think when I was in the 90s, 20s at school, English was cool to learn. Everybody was, and because again of the movies, I believe. So I would say really I hope I answered the question. It helped me just, I think, for many more things than just speaking this language. It gave me access, I think, to many more things that I thought would be
Right.
like, and I believe that we take one step in the universe. Anything else takes 1,000. So, I mean, just this, you don't even know. Nobody knows when you learn English how far it will take you. Like, I don't think you knew you would marry somebody which native language is English. You know what
No,
it's
absolutely not.
crazy. It opens more doors than somebody may think. I will learn for this reason. You will get things, which is also the magic of it. You don't know why, but if you
Right.
listen to this, you probably have a hunch to learn English and you just don't know what's going to come after that. You see it as having tunnel vision, but actually there's so much more
It's true.
coming and I would never have known until today. So I'm so grateful that I thought English was cool and I hope people think English is cool too by listening to you.
Well, it's what you're saying is very true. Like you never know. Like you get into something. It's like a leap of faith. You just say, okay, I
It's
need English, maybe for very practical reasons, for a job, for an interview, for something that is necessary. But beyond that, there's a lot more that you can get through learning English, and you never know until you do it. So
for sure. And I think
that's
it's
the
fun to
mystery of
look.
life.
Exactly, you never know, but it's nice to look back at, right? Like to
Mm,
be, I don't even know if somebody will tell me you will get all of this. I think maybe it will feel also too big. I need to learn this to have access to all of it. This is why we should not just take it one day at a time and just trust the process and taking it easy.
right.
I always like also to compare that there are things in our life that come easy, like friendship, or I don't know, I'm thinking about it. Like loving chocolate for me, for example, it's a very easy relationship. A bit too much love from my side, but it's easy. So why we make other things so complicated? I think they can also deserve lightness. And again, then the result will be spectacular. So,
Thank you so much, Tamara. Before we finish this interview, I would like to ask a question, a couple of questions I ask all my guests. And the first one is there an expression or word in English that you particularly like?
I love I love the word fantastic. I think that we should use it more like, how are you feeling? I'm feeling fantastic.
Fantastic!
Fantastic. I also love gorgeous. I used to love it because it was a club that I used to go back then. Now I'm too tired for this. But it was written gorgeous, gorgeous everywhere. And I think it's nice to say something is gorgeous. It's a nice word. So I think I
Mm,
would think of this too, but I was a bit like caught up. I would have think better, but I think if it comes like this, there is a reason. So I would say these two words.
perfect, perfect.
Maybe I need to learn more better vocabulary because this is
No,
the only.
that's good.
Yeah, you got
That's
one.
pretty good.
Okay.
And the other question is there a book or any other kind of resource that helped you and that you would recommend our listeners to use?
Great question. I would say any actually autobiography. of someone that you like. So many people wrote about themselves, the dream of everybody. No, I don't think it's mine. But I mean, for some people, they love it. And if you read them in English, you really get into someone's head. And I think it's English that most people will understand when they start also learning, and I think intermediate level. So this is my answer. I think it's somebody that
It's a
for
great
a
answer.
domain. It's a good, interesting. I just thought about
Yes,
it. I
I
was like,
like it.
this is good.
Do
I'm
you
happy
have
about it.
anyone in mind?
I'm just thinking now, no.
Because when you said autobiography, I straight away thought about Steve Jobs or
Oh, I
or
wanted to
Obama.
read it.
You know, like they
I
both
read
wrote
Obama now.
their own biography.
You're talking about Michelle or the
I was
the
thinking about the
book?
president, but also Michelle is good.
I read it's so interesting you said it. Because I read, I think I used to read only self-help and personal development books, and then I started to go back to novels, and I read autobiography, and there's so many of them, so I kind of download them and save them and did not read them yet. But I think Obama was one that I read printed, and it's like you're in somebody's head, and the vocabulary is, I believe, very like you understand better than just other books that are a bit maybe deeper or are on other topics. So I would recommend autobiography on a domain like theme that's topic that is interesting to someone.
Yes, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Tamara, for your wisdom, for sharing your wisdom today. Just for
Thank
our
you.
listeners who want to connect with you, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, great question. So I so many good questions today. So you can find me. My website is personaldevelopmentzone.com, which is an example also of English. I started this blog kind of 10 years ago, 2017 almost. And as you can see, it's just how I started it, and now I don't even question it. It just happened. So just jump in it. And you can also put in Google Tamara Life Uncomplicated, and you will find me
All right. So
everywhere. So
we'll
you
put
can just
the link in the description of this
thank
episode.
you so much. Just so much fun,
Thank you,
Stephanie. Thank you
Tamara. It
so
was
much
a
for
lot of
having
fun
me,
talking to
and
you.
good
It's
luck to
always
everyone.
always great to talk to you, and I hope to have another great conversation with you very soon.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Bye bye.
Bye.